Evening, Night Gems. Welcome back for another read. Tonight I do have one letter. Um, Before we start though, happy holidays. Whatever happened during your day, whatever, if it was stressful, leave it where it happened at. Do not bring that stress home with you. Once you're home, you're supposed to be calm and relaxed and enjoying the rest of your evening. Also, before we get into this letter, go ahead and get that drink that will get you right for the night. I am sipping on Stella Rosa Mango. You guys know I love mango. And of course, you already know your girl paid for this with her own coins. So just want to throw that in there. Go ahead and get that drink and come on back and let's get into these letters. This one letter. Before I start the letter, I just want to say to the gentleman that sent me this letter, thank you for your letter. Thank you for taking your time to write this letter. Thank you because he put it in the bottom. He would like my true and honest opinion. So thank you, and I will give you my true and honest opinion. And also, guys, I just wanted to say that by all means, I did not go to college to become a doctor. I do not have no doctorate degree. But what I do have is my honest opinion. And if that's what you're looking for, I'm going to give it to you. For sure. For sure. So, and also this letter may be a bit trigger warning because it took me a few times to read this letter. When I got in the email, I was just so emotional a bit reading this letter. Let me just say that. But let's go ahead and get into this letter. Let's see. Let me pull it up. Hi, Miss Moon. First, I must apologize if my letter is too long. I'm just looking for your honest opinion. Your letter is fine. I don't care if it's long. You took the time to write it. I'm going to read it. I'm a 48-year-old man. My father is white and my mother is black. I grew up in Alabama. My parents are a loving couple and have been happily married for 40 plus years. That's what's up. But my father's side of the family treated me so badly since I was 5 years old. Both of my parents worked. At times, I had no choice but to go over to my grandparents' house, and I hated every moment of it. I remember my grandmother making me put on my cousin's black suit jacket and white gloves. After my grandmother cooked, I had to serve my grandparents, my uncle, and my cousin food. I had to stand there and watch them eat. Then I had to clean the table. I made sure I cleaned the table good. I did not want to get the switch. What was left over, my granddad put in a dog bowl, and I had to eat outside. My uncle used to say to my cousin, "Look at the monkey, the porch monkey." I could not play with my cousins. My granddad used me as a footrest and would flick his cigarette ashes on my head. Oh my gosh. It's terrible. This went on for a year and a half during the summer months when I was out of school until one day my dad came to pick me up early and caught my uncle trying to force me to drink from out of the toilet. I could not say what my dad did to my uncle, but I knew I never had to go back at that house. So we moved closer to my mom's side of the family. Miss Moon, I felt so much love for my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, and cousins. I truly enjoy every moment spent with them. Summers over my grandparents' house was amazing. We used to go out and camp out in the backyard and have sleepovers. Now that I'm an adult with a family of my own, God has blessed me to be very successful in life. Not too long ago, I received a Facebook message from my cousin on my father's side telling me that my grandmother is in hospice care and she's wanting to go home. But she's unable to afford the at-home nurse care. Yeah, that could be pretty pricey. Out of respect for my father, I took him to see her. Their conversation was very short. Then she turned her attention towards me, saying, I hear you are making good money. Can you pay for me to get a nurse for home care? I want to go home. I thought about it. I told her no. I didn't forget what you have done to me. She said in the good book it says to forgive and forget. Why are you still holding on to that? You made good of your life. I thought you was going to be in jail or in the street dealing drugs. Why are you still holding to that past life? What the Oh my gosh. Miss Moon, I was shocked. Here she is on her sickbed talking like this. My father said, you're not going to talk to my son like this. We are leaving. We took the long trip back home. My grandmother on my mother's side is a very Christian woman. I told her what happened. She told me I should not hold a grudge. How I feel that maybe I should help since God had blessed me financially. I need your honest opinion. And again, thank you so much for taking the time for this letter. That was a lot. Oh my gosh. I feel hurt. I feel hurt for you for what you had to go through since when you was 5. But I'm also pissed off at the same time from reading this letter. Oh my gosh. As kids, we will love to have the love of our grandparents. What kid wouldn't want the love of their grandparents? But your grandparents on your father's side, oh my gosh. I am terribly sorry, so sorry you had to experience that. And first of all, for your grandmother to put a black suit jacket on you and white gloves and you had to stand there and serve them food after she cooked, that's fucking crazy. It's disgusting. As a woman, as a grandmother, as a woman and a grandmother to do that to you, that is fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. She should be ashamed of herself for doing anything like that. And the way the rest of your family treated you, how dare they? How dare they? Your grandfather putting food in a doll bowl and having you eat outside, all because you were just half black. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry you went through this. So sorry. And for your uncle trying to force you to drink out the fucking toilet, I'm glad you didn't tell me what your dad did, but I hope your daddy beat his ass for doing that shit. I hope your daddy put his face in the toilet. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. So now that you are very successful, and I'm glad you are very successful. I am so glad that Your father came home that day early to see what was going on. And I'm so glad that on your mother's side of the family, your grandparents and your family, I'm so glad they showed you so much love. I'm so glad you got to experience that love. And that love of having your cousins around you and y'all, sleepovers in the backyard in some tents. I'm so glad you experienced that love. But now that you are doing well off, now your grandmother, wants you to get her a home health care nurse. Since you asked for my opinion, I am so glad you said no. Absolutely not. I am so glad you said no, because not one time in this letter I hear that she even said, I'm sorry for treating you the way I did. She's telling you, in the good book it says forgive and forget, but also in the good book it says an eye for a fucking eye. It don't say that, but it says an eye for an eye. I'm sorry, I'm just a little heated with this letter. But, and she's going to tell you forgive and forget, and she still didn't even say sorry. I can't even get my words out. I'm so pissed off. She didn't even have the audacity to say, I'm sorry for treating you the way I did. I'm sorry we picked on you. I'm sorry for treating my grandson less of a person. And now she wants your help. Hell no. Let her ass sit in hospice care. And you know what? She's probably nasty to those nurses too. Let her ass sit in her own piss and shit and marinate in that sucker. Because I do know, one thing I do know, the nicest you are in those hospitals, in those situations where you need assistance, those nurses and the staff is more than willing to help you. The mean, if you were mean and a pissy ass bitch and such a bitch, they ain't gonna want to help you. So let her sit in there. Let her sit in there and think about what she did. Because to this day, she still do not give a shit what she did to you. That's sad. So I'm glad you told her no. I'm glad your father said, you're not going to talk to my son like that. We're leaving. And I'm so happy that your father picked a family he created with his wife and left. I'm so glad he picked you guys and not his family. And you know what? It's just a sad thing for any child. Any child that has to go through this is sad. And I'm so proud of your father of loving who he wanted to love. A lot of people, still to this day, a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't have the guts to do that. But I'm so happy that your father chose who he want to love and picked you and your mother over his family, because clearly he knew his family wasn't shit. And I'm not saying everybody in your family is shit, but the ones in this letter that treated you badly, your grandparents and your uncle, that is the worst. That is the worst. Instead of your uncle taking you out with his kids to go fishing or something, he's calling you a monkey. What kind of shit is that? That is some fucked up shit. It's so messed up. You know what? But his karma is going to come too one day. And your grandfather karma is going to come back to him too one day as well. But right now, this is your grandmother karma. Let her stay in that hospice care. I am so glad you said no. Now, your grandmother on your mother's side, I kind of understand what she's saying, not to hold grudges, but you might not even hold a grudge at her at this time. But like you, I wouldn't spend no money on her, somebody that didn't love me. You want me to spend money on somebody that didn't love me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you, in my opinion, you definitely did the right thing of not paying for her to get a home health care. And the audacity for her to even ask. Mind blowing. She's still to this day only care about herself. She don't care about you or how you feel or what she done to you in the past. She don't care. She clearly don't care for it because she says, forgive and forget. Hell no. Hell no. Instead of her saying forgive and forget, she could have said, I'm sorry. I know now how I treated you was wrong. I am so sorry. Your grandmother is not even humble when she asks you, can you pay for a health care aid? Oh my goodness. Wow. This, this really pisses me off. It really does. You don't treat children like that. Children, and then when they grow up and have this hate towards you, or not even hate, but not even want to deal with you or see you for the rest of their life, then you want to come back and ask them, can they help? No. That child needed, you as a child, you needed grandparents that loved you. That's what you needed. And when you got grandparents like this, I would not look back. I would not even go back. Well, I know you went back, to take your father to see his mother, because at the end of the day, that is his mother. He may not like her or like the person she is, but I'm glad you and your father took the trip back so he can see her. I don't know if this is, the last time he's going to see her, but I'm glad you were a man and adult enough to take him to see his mother. But she sounds like she's still the same salty ass bitch to me. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to call your grandmother a salty bitch, but I am just so over the top right now with this letter, how she treated you as when you was 5 years old, you. So I agree with you with saying no. Don't send her nothing unless you want to, unless you truly want to, but you don't have to send her nothing. You don't have to send her, you don't even have to give her an answer, because God has blessed you to be very successful. And that's your money. She has never been a grandmother to you. Never. So don't spend your hard-earned money on somebody who is very selfish and is only thinking about themselves and treated you like this. I wouldn't. Fuck no, I wouldn't. My hard-earned money for somebody that treated me like shit? Not in this day and age. Hell no. Absolutely not. Oh my goodness. You just don't know. Like, I truly feel for you as when you was 5 years old, but I'm so glad that you did not let that stop you from being a person that you wanted to be in life. So thank you so much for your letter. I truly appreciate your letter. And again, folks, I'm not, I didn't go to school to become a doctor. I don't have no degree. I'm no Dr. Phil or the talk show Queen Oprah. By all means, I'm not that, but I will definitely give you my honest opinion. And my honest opinion sometimes come with a little side of pettiness. Because sometimes I could be petty. And I don't mean being petty as trying to get somebody back, but you know, I would not. I'm not gonna help you if you never showed me no love. You know, and I think this gentleman in this letter had every right to say no. He didn't forget what happened to him. You know, I'm just pissed off that she didn't even say sorry. Wow. This letter had my emotions all over the place. But again, sir, thank you so much for your letter. I hope this helps you. I hope the answer I had helped you, because I wouldn't send her a damn dime or a penny. I hope that helps you. Shit. If it was me, let me tell you something. If I was in this position and it was me, let me tell you, I would not give my grandmother the sweat off my ass if she was dying of thirst. And that's where my pettiness comes in. No, because I will never forget how you treated me if I was you. No. So, Night Gems, the question of this evening is, was he right into saying no? Was he right with saying no? So give me your opinions, Night Gems, down below in the comments. I personally say he had every right to tell her, no, I'm not going to help you. So Night Gems, that will conclude this evening's letter. It may be a little over 15 minutes. I do apologize for that, but you know, I appreciate this gentleman sending me this letter, and I was going to take my time with this letter. And I appreciate all you guys. And guys, it is the holidays, so love your family, love your friends that stick by you. Tell your family you love them. When you see them, give them a hug. Sometimes just say, you know what, I love you. You never know, that could have made that person's day much more brighter. So again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Cheers.